Hello, welcome back to more work on my Mauve Lilac folded envelope. I thought I would do a little stitching, so I've gotten out some of my my directions for these counted stitches. They are primarily just counting and stitching, and really you cannot think about much else when you're just counting and stitching. So I thought I'd share them with you. As you can see, they are rather dimensional because the thread gets piled up, and I put these on, and I just tried these because I was having fun doing it. So I thought I would show you how to do one of these hearts, and I'm going to do it not on this canvas but on a piece of paper canvas, and this is the direction that I will be following, and I will show you that this is literally, you come up at 1, you count, and you go down at 2. You come up at 3, you go down at 4. And the whole secret to needlepoint is to remember the holes just carry the thread. The only thing that counts are the threads. So, in other words, to get from here to here, I have to count over 1, 2 threads and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So up at 1, down at 2 is over 2, down 1, 2, and then the needle goes down in 2. It'll be more explanatory as I show it to you. So let's begin. I'm going to pull this up rather close. Hopefully you will be able to see both things at once. And let's see what happens. There you go. Alrighty. Now, this would be the center. So, I want to come over 1. This is the center. This is about where I want to be. So, I'm coming over 1. And up 1. So that's number 1. Over 1, up 1, that's number 1. And 2 over, and we're just counting threads. Well, that didn't do you any good at all. Let me take that out of there and show you how I did that. And I will keep my eye on this big screen that's in front of me, so I have no excuse for doing that again. If this is about the center, I will realize this is the center of the heart. And so I want to come over 1 and up 1. So I arbitrarily decide that that's the center. So I come, if this is a center, I come over 1 and up 1, and that's number 1. Now number 2 we decided was over 2 and up 1 to over 2. That brings us to here and up this line. So 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's do it. Over 1, 2, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. So now we know where it is. You know where it is, and let me check again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bingo. Now you get that first one in, and it makes life a lot easier. So now I need since I did 1 and 2, number 3. On the diagram, it's just one diagonal up. So here is number 1, and in order to find a diagonal, you come over 1 and up 1. There's number 3. Number 4 is a little bit interesting. It's over 1 and up 1. So here is over 1 and up 1. Over 1 and up 1, and in she goes. There's 3 and 4. 5. We're going up on a diagonal. Here's number 3, so number 5 is over 1 and up 1. That's number 5. Now, what do they want for number 6? Number 6 is right next to number 4. That's easy. Okay. Okay. Number 7, diagonal. Again, over 1 and up 1 is a diagonal. Let me get this thread, the silk out of there. Silk wants to stick to absolutely anything. So diagonal, you can either look at it diagonally and find the hole visually, or you can go over 1 and up 1. So here is the diagonal for number 7. Number 8 is diagonally down 1, over 1, down 1, or a diagonal stitch. And number 9, a diagonal again, over 1, up 1, or just turn it, twist it, and see the diagonal line. In other words, the diagonal line, you would look at it, it would be running out like this. 9 and 10 is diagonal again. It would be over 1 and down 1. I'm so intent on you seeing what I'm doing. 1 over 1 and down 1 is right there. Number 11 is straight up. Well, that's another easy peasy. And straight down under number 10 is number 12. And number 13 is straight up over here. And 14 is down under 12, right down straight. Boom. Alrighty. And number 15 is diagonal. Number 15 is up 1 and over 1. That would be the diagonal. And number 16 is diagonal. So let's look closely to see this diagonal. See where it's easier for you to see it. So this is the last stitch. We go over 1 and down 1. Over 1 and down 1. Now, I know this looks like I'm looking at holes, but when you do needlepoint or any kind of stitching like this, you will automatically just see threads after some practice. So that was 15, 16. Now 17, 18. 17 is, and I'll turn this around, on the diagonal. Okay, do you see that? I'm just making this. This is the diagonal row right here. So it's up 1, over 1. And 18 is over 1, down 1. And I know this seems to be complicated, but when you're working on it your own, you can take time to figure it out. Now 19 and 20. 19 is right next to 17. I love those. Okay. And 20 is diagonal again. Over 1, down 1. Are you starting to see the heart? And 21 is a tricky little bit of business. It's over 1 and down 1. So here is over 1, down 1 is 19. I'm sorry, 20 and 22. 21 is here. 22 is diagonal. We're getting good at this now. Over 1 and down 1 is the diagonal. And 23 and 24 is the last stitch. So 23 is this one right here in the center. Over 1 and down 1. Alrighty, let me pull this out so that you can see it. over one and down one in this empty center hole. Not going there. There we go. There is there, and down diagonally to this next one, which would be over one and down one, and done. We have a pretty, pretty heart. And please to believe me when I tell you this seems like a big deal, but after you've practiced this a little bit and really understood that you must look at the threads, and even if you're counting up straight, you're just counting over threads, and if you're going on a diagonal, you get good enough to see, you will just automatically see. In other words, if my stitch is here, after a while, you just go to the next, you know that that's the diagonal, and that's the diagonal. Or, if you're not sure, you go over one and up one, and that's the diagonal. Now, and you're saying to yourself, okay, Carol, dream on, baby. But it does make for some pretty effects on your crafting, and you might want to give it a try. For those of you who like to do a little bit of stitching, okay. So, boom. And this is usually going to be down on something, so you can always put a little bit of fabric tack down here to keep the threads from moving. And there you. Oh my goodness. Well, that was interesting. Someone supposedly telling me that my order of a telephone was ready to be delivered. I didn't order such a beast. Alrighty. So, I'm going to set that aside now and go back to this piece that I was working on, and I've decided that I want to just add, now I'm going to back this onto some pretty cardstock, but I thought now I would add something to this. I just want to add a little bit of something to take up this space. So I've got one of these air and water soluble pens, and I think I'm just going to put down something like this, and maybe something like this, and maybe something like this, just to add a little interest, and maybe one there. Good. And I'm going to do something that is quite simple. I'm going to do something called couching, and I just have this bit of gold that I got from my gold drawer, and this is really, when you see how interesting this is to do, I'm going to start at the beginning here of this line. Okay, and I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to take up this piece of DMC cotton that I tried to match to this background, and I'm using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come way back up here and just get this way back down here and get this out of the way. So this is called an away knot. And now what I'm going to do is I am merely going to lay this gold along that line that I have drawn, and I'm just going to wrap this thread. Let me get even closer. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to get closer. And what I'm doing is alrighty. Now, get everybody in his own pew here. This has to be on top. Well, of course not. Alrighty. There we go. It says in the fine print. There we go. Now, Alrighty. So this lays down along the line, and I come down a little bit along the line, and I just I use a hole, and I go in here, and I choose a spot on the canvas that is close to this, and I just tie that down. I hope you're able to see this. Now I'm going to want this to come up a little bit. The first a few stitches of anything is of course not quite as easy as the rest, but here I'm going to go down a little bit, come up on this side, down on this side, and I'm going to bring this back up. I can turn corners. I can do about anything I can imagine with this gold thread, because I am just going to be tying it down. So I want that guy up. I want that up there. Let me come this way. I think it'll be easier. Yes, it will, because I want to follow this purple line. So leave a little space. I want these couching threads to be fairly equidistant. And yes, we're covering that pencil line nicely. And come here and down as close to that gold thread as I can get it. And up here. And down under it as close as I can get it. And this does match this background canvas very nicely. So it will disappear. And close underneath, sometimes I stick that needle and I poke it kind of underneath the gold thread. And as you can see, we can get a nice curve going here. Sometimes you have to make a decision as to where that might be a little too close. I'm going to come down a little bit further, up on that side, down on the other side, and I have to watch my line here. Where am I? Where is that line? There it is. Okay. So, as you can see, that's what the problem was. It's the magnet is drawing this needle. I'm going to have to grip it a little tighter. Show the magnet who's boss. Gone. Okay. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, where's the last one? Right there. Okay, up a little further. On one side. And down on the other. So, as you can see, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to follow that line along, and it will stay attached to the canvas, and at the end I will finish it with a knot, and I will have this nice shape of a thin line of gold thread, which will just add a little bit of interest. And then maybe I could put a few French knots along it if I so desired, but I know that you're raising your eyes and saying, well, this, you can do it, Carol. Well, this particularly just takes becoming a little dexterous for a while, but you can just speak with your thread. You can write words, you can put initials, you can do lots of fun stuff. So I'm going to stop now because I know that lots of you are not stitchers, and I don't want to spend too much time with this, but I'll be working on this evening while I've got one eye on the television. And so I'm going to back this with a piece of cardstock and probably make a a tag. So that's aside now, and let's get these things out of the way. In fact, I'm going to clean them up a little bit so that you can see the what I've been working on for this envelope. I'll be right back. Well, as you can see, I have some bits laid out to use on this bag, but before I get to that, I thought I would share the journal that's going to be included inside of the envelope folder. I used the wallpaper border that I had purchased eons ago, and I decided that it would just be a nice size to include in the journal. And I thought I would break down and finally use some of this hoard here of shelf edging. And so I did just that. This worked so nicely for a cover and a backing and the spine. And then I lined that with some paper that I thought would work a treat here. And I put together the pages of the journal, and I decided that they needed a little bit of softening, so I used my punch for those. So we have a piece of lacy coffee dyed paper, and a page of the dyed paper of my own, and a page of white cardstock, coffee dyed paper, a piece of vellum, more coffee dyed paper, more white paper, a piece of color book, and slip that back in there. It's upside down. I'm glad that I noticed. A piece of my painty paper using Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist. Another piece of cardstock. And there's something missing in here. Something's hiding, because there is a piece of, there it is. There it is, a piece of parchment. So, I'm up to that point on this now, and I think that I'm going to not do an overwhelming amount of playing with the pages in here. I'm going to leave it for Susan, for when I send it to its forever home. Susan will then be able to do what she would like on the inside of this little journal. I probably will. I think I'm going to put some Mrs. Cogg's White Ladies photos on the front and back as a tuck spot. And then, of course, knowing me, I shall probably do a little bit of stamping on these pages. And hopefully I will be able to restrain myself. So that's coming next. And then after I get this sewn together, and in order to sew it, look what I found. Oh my, there are going to be some of these on this envelope. I found, okay, is it hiding in here? Is it, oh no, yes, there it is. I found some of this DMC pearl cotton, and there's supposed to be a number on it. Let's see where it might say that. 5, yes, number 5, because 3 is finer and 8 is heavier, and I like to use that to sew the insides of to sew the pages into the spine. This is 100% cotton. It's got a nice shine to it, and I'm going to have the ends on the inside because I want to add a few charms, and then there will be one single. I'm planning on doing a 3-hole blanket stitch. There will be a little of this on the outside, And then, in turn, since this is doubled here in order to make this work, it will cover that on the outside. And maybe or maybe not a little bit of playing here. So, this is the plan for that. And now some working here. Goodness, just too many options. But I'm just thinking I want to use these someplace. These are scans I made of my vintage handkerchief collection, and I'm going to be, when I can squeeze in the time, which will be soon, I'm going to share this, some of these on as digitals on my Etsy shop. But I thought for a while that I was going to use these here. But there are two places on the cover. This, the stitchery is going to, the tag is going to go into this. But there's place in here for something pretty behind this belly band. And I left the, if you'll remember, I left this open so I have a piece that I can put into the side here. And I was thinking, my, wouldn't that be pretty? So I'm going to leave this alone for a while because I want to make some progress. Because, as I said, I'm sure Susan would like me to stop playing sometime. Now, first thing I'm going to do is glue this down so that we have a pocket on the back. Let me just put the little tiniest bit here. Okay, going to do that to me now, are we? That's not very nice at all. And here. And here. I'm not going to put anything too thick in this bag. So this should just work to hold this down. Let's get back to this front cover. Okay, so we have a nice bag here for some goodies. Now, to start, something. Yes, I don't know, but I'm just wanting to do this. I don't know why, but I do. Let me see if I put that over to the side a little bit. Or should I give it a cutting? Goodness, I don't know. I really don't know. Ooh. See, I like that too. I want to put this spray on here, so I'm going to do a quick semi-fussy cut here and get it glued down so that we can have a start here. This is down, and this, the last piece of this from Ooh La La Crafts that I've been saving, and it just worked so well. These colors worked so well with this center, and then I found in my little collection of tiny birdies, I took the center out of a book that I purchased. The book wasn't anything but these little birdies are delightful. So I fussy cut these out, and I like the coloration on their backs going with the greens in here, and this green goes with that. Oh, I was just tickled. And then I thought, I was laying up here, and I thought, and I remember just the most wonderful thing about needlepoint canvas is that these threads are woven, and they're not permanent, and they just do this. Is this not wonderful? So, show you that. And it's absolutely square, because the threads are laid exactly square. So, I thought I would put this here until I find a word. And then I'm thinking I'm going to add some distressing, and I'm going to stop on the front of this bag for a while until I have time to give it a good think. So, this needs a little strength here, so I'm just going to try doing just a corner here, and a corner there, and the middle, corner, corner, middle. Let's see what happens. Where's my wax paper? I cannot proceed. There it is. I cannot proceed without that wax paper. Okay, let's see now. And then some of that. Oops. Maybe. Well, you know, I can just hear Gail Agostinelli, and I can hear Andrea Artie Mays saying, Carol, keep those, they're good. Well, I think one just hit the deck. I'll remember it's down there. Okay. So we have a start. Let's do something to just put a frame on here. Very nice. And now the other side, and I found this, and I thought this might be a nice background for whatever is behind, you know, this will be behind whatever is in this pocket. So let's do that. And little did I know when I put this stamp on there that it would work so nicely. So let's do that right there. Certainly save that. And this. I did not leave enough for the, taking into consideration the glue. So, just a little more. Just the tiniest little bit more. This should do it. This should do it, it says in the fine print. You could go right too, and then I could just take off up here. Oh yes. I'm thinking so. One thing leads to another. Much better. This might stay. And so that's going to go there. And what have we in here? What have we in here? Oh, do not forget this. Yes, let me not forget that. And let me not forget this. Oh goodness. Oh yes. Righty. No, don't want that there either. That's not far enough. It's really quite incredible the way you can lose focus when you see a shiny object that would work to add some depth to that pocket. Oh yes, definitely. Whoops, just the tiniest bit. Just the tiniest little bit. That's good. And that's good. Or it will be when it's down. And what else do I have? Else might work there. In the middle. These leaves kind of match those. Serendipity. I think it's time for a think. And a little gluing. Well, let's see now what we have here. Oh my. Oh my. I'm very tickled about this. I mixed two colors, kind of a magenta color and a violet, in the Tattered Angels Shimmer Mist, and I put this down in the bottom of my spray box, and this is what I got out of it. The color, well, it was just beyond how happy I was to make this. And two for my naturals, for tea dyed and coffee dyed. But this, the coloring here, well, let's see. So, pure luck, but I'm patting myself on the back for trying that second color with it, because the other one would have been too stark. Alrighty. So, let's see what we have thus far. And this is next. I think I might be bordering on what's doing is worth overdoing. So, I wonder. I just wonder. No point. Okay. That one or that one? That might eat through. I wish I could hear what you were telling me right now, but I can't, so I'm going to go for a very light dose of this one. And it's only going to go around the frame. Put this inside so I don't glue the top of the bag closed. Let me do that. I've learned so much by watching videos. I've seen these little calamities occur, and all right, now I think that was a fairly good decision. But now, little frame, and I'm going to stop for today. And I'm going to be working away because I think I'll only do one more process video, and then I'll share it all with you before before this goes to Susan. Who knows what's going to end up there? Something, something. Well, I'm going to stop for the moment and do a cleanup. Back in a moment. Oh, that's better. I always find that I do so much better when I can see the top of my workplace. I'm just one of those people who works better when you can see the environment. I guess that comes from being a teacher. You have to have eyes all over and see exactly what's happening, whether you need to or not. So, today, we got a start, except for this back bit, on this package that I'm going to be filling with ephemera. And I used some of the cheesecloth that I dyed. Yay, Carol. And some Edith Holden and some birdies, and a little piece of the needle point that was canvas that was left over. And so, let me go and get that. This is the way it looks next to my chair. This is going to be a tag on the front of the envelope folder, and I'm just going to be finishing the couching, and then this is going to get attached, glued down to a piece of cardstock and turned into a tag. So, we talked about that today. This, and I showed you this journal, which I'm going to be including inside of the folder. If you have enjoyed today, please consider giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. Bye now.